Welcome to Significance Breeds Success. My name is Daniel Puder. I'm your host. Today I'm here with Irvin Legend. What's up, bro? Pro
Brother.
wrestler,
Yeah.
motivational speaker, impacting kids' lives, rocking life, staying fit, in shape, having fun. What's happening? You doing good?
Yeah, man. I'm just trying to stay healthy, trying to, stay focused. I know, times are crazy with this pandemic, but it's like, yeah, it's bad, but it doesn't have to be all bad. You just gotta, get out, have goals, take one day at a time. That's what I'm trying to do.
I like the focus part of it. I think that a lot of people are they focus on their issues versus focus on what they have, what
Yeah.
they're going for, what they're like. How do you stay focused when things get hard?
Well, I have multiple things. I've always been, my mentality has always been pretty sharp. And it doesn't matter what I've been through in life. I always try to look at the positive. So it's like everybody looks at this pandemic as yeah, it's bad, but it's like this is really giving me time to reassess what I want in life. Gives me time to spend with my family that I didn't get to have when this wasn't around. It gives me time to work on home projects or stuff I wasn't able to work on when wrestling was going full fledged, when I was constantly doing motivational speaking. So I mean, yeah, you got to be really careful, but is it really? I mean, yeah, it's bad, but do you have to make it so negative? Like use this time, in quarantine or whatever to get a notebook, write down what you want to do for the next 10 years, and see what you got to do to slowly, make that come true.
Yeah, so I love what you're saying, because I mean, business, like, people have asked me, and I this thing I feel for some of the businesses out there right now. I've had some friends that their businesses have not done well, and I'm blessed because we've really got down to the nitty gritty, and like in our business, and focused on growing one piece at a time.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely not easy, um, but it's taking some serious focus to stay on track, because everything that's going on just gets sucked in sometimes. Um, how did you use that mindset that you just talked about in pro wrestling?
Well, as you know, pro wrestling is a very brutal business to be a part of, politically, mentally more so than physically. Break you down. You got not only people within the business, but the business itself break you down. So like I've had a lot of life experiences before I even got into wrestling, like staying off the streets, being through, being bullied, being picked on because my mom was like elderly and Caucasian. So I already had that sharp mindset going into wrestling. So once I broke into the business, I'm like, okay, this is pretty much the same stuff I've had to deal with my entire life. It wasn't easy, but I knew how to deal with it. Most guys that I've been around, they just break. So it's like I knew what I had to do, either get away from those people, or if people spend as much energy trying to tear people down as they do trying to smash their own goals, I think this will be a way less stressful place. That's why when I was first in wrestling, I didn't have a lot of friends because I never really did the whole clique or never really ganged up. And I just kept to myself, was respectful, worked hard, and I mean people respected that, but they also didn't like it because I knew that I was more of a lone wolf. I couldn't be pushed around. I couldn't be ostracized because I didn't allow it. So I mean that my mentality even to now is like, okay, I have my circle of friends, but I'm so focused. I would rather put an extra 6 hours of work in than go to the bar with my friends and get drunk. I mean, I've always been a go getter because, man, we're not here forever. I'm 27. I'm not young. I'm not too young. I'm kind of getting up there. So it's like I kind of feel like I got an hourglass, on my side. I'm trying to do as much as I can in a short amount of time so that I don't look back on life and be like, I should have done this. I should have done that. Every day I wake up, every day I open my eyes, I'm like, okay, what can I do today that was different from yesterday? So I feel like if people had that mentality, life would be so much easier, you know?
I'm with you. I like the so I had that at one point, where I was like, wow, I only have, like, I'm young and I get to do this, and that's why it drove me to do this pro sports deal.
Right.
And obviously, being a pro athlete, you only have so much time.
Yeah.
In some sports, you can do golf. Like after this, bro, pick up some golf. You can do it till you're like 80, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, And that's why you're picking up motivational speaking, not only to impact kids, right? But that's a great career that can go for the next, 100 years for you. I've heard stories that the technology coming out, like if you and I get to the next 10 years by 2032, 2035, something like that, we're going to be able to do, reverse our DNA. Like we're going to be able to turn it back or stop it. Right. So we'll be like 20, we'll be like 40. I like 40. I like 40. I like 45, something like that. Cause I got enough wisdom, and money and I have the relationships and the friendships and the family, like the whole entire thing. So I think it's the framework. Most people want to say 20 their whole entire life because they're like, man, it's, I'm in good shape. I can do sports forever, but they've never really experienced life. They've done one or two things. How do you grow over time from when you were like early 20s to, now you're going into speaking, you've been in speaking for a while now, you've been impacting people's lives. What's the shift in your mindset just to from entertaining and being an athlete to really make an impact on this world?
Well, as a motivational, as a 27-year-old, a lot of 27-year-olds don't have the mentality I do because I've been through a lot. Even at a young age, I've been going through stuff since I've been 8, and it's like mentally I feel way older than I am. And it's funny, like the motivational speaking, I got inspired to do that because, Tyson Kidd's a good friend of mine. And after he broke his neck, he put a story out there, and I was amazed on how many people supported him. So like, I wonder if anybody would give a damn about my story. So I put my story out there, and it blew up. And then I got, asked to speak at schools. And then from there, I went from speaking from high schools to rehab centers to special needs classes. And it's like, I'm just I'm not calling myself a kid at the time. I'm just a kid, kid with the dream of making somebody when I had nothing. And it's like, it's amazing how many people want to hear my story. As a 27-year-old, I've accomplished a lot. I'm not satisfied, but I'm happy that I was able to literally get myself out of where I was at. And it's like the person that I am now is completely different from me 10 years ago. I was stubborn. I didn't listen to anybody. I thought, oh man, girls, let's go clubbing. None of that's important. What's important is, what you accomplish in life and how you try to outdo yourself every time you wake up, because life is tough, but it doesn't have to be so tough. It can be enjoyable. You can always test yourself and then reap the rewards after the fact. Most of these people, most people out here are scared to live their dreams, are scared to take a chance. If you don't take a chance, you really don't know what you're capable of as a human being. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I never thought that I would be a pro wrestler. I wanted to, but I never thought it was realistic. But here I am, I met some damn good people, like people like, Tyson, Gangrel, Natalia, you know, people like that. And it's like, okay, see what happens when you take a chance. You never know. That's my message. It doesn't matter what you've been through, how many, trials or tribulations you have. If you have the passion to succeed, you're going to succeed. If you have the passion to be lazy and not succeed, you're not going to succeed. It goes both ways. And a lot of these people, I don't know, I'm not going to call it, they're scared to put themselves out there because they think they're going to be like, turned down. You know how many times I was turned down in life? A lot. But I kept trucking. I kept hustling. And that's what fueled me.
So tell me, where did you grow up? Like what, because like when I was in India, right? Hardship to people in America versus people in India in some areas, not every area, but some area, like where I was at some point, which was like Sankissa area. Like up till like, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, they didn't have running water or some electricity. They didn't have a road, right? So they still have a pump. You go out front and you can pump your water out front of, like it's literally where you drive up and you pump your water. It's crazy. Like there's that. And, as a kid, I was in, learning disabled classes. Everybody's got their hardship, right? What kind of stuff did you get to go through so that you could become the man you are today?
Oh man, where do I start? Well, first and foremost, as soon as I was born, my birth mother was a prostitute and a cocaine addict. So when I was born, I literally came out and I was already dead. Like the doctor was like, "There's no way we can bring him back." Not only that, but the umbilical cord was around my neck, and I came up upside down. So not only did my heart stop because of the drugs, but because I suffocated. So I came out as purple. They literally put me in an incubator. They brought me back, and they said during that time I had no oxygen. I developed epilepsy, asthma, mild cerebral palsy, a whole bunch of stuff. A premature baby. That's this might be irrelevant, but my shoe size, like my shoe size is insane. You think someone who's 5'9" is wearing 11 or 12, if that. I'm pushing a 14 and a half. Doctor was saying I'm supposed to be 6'4", 6'5", but I'm 5'9" because of my premature issues from the cocaine abuse. So from the start, I was, battling for my life. I was in incubator for 6 months. As I got older, my mom, bless her heart, she worked with my motor skills because I couldn't walk, couldn't grip stuff, couldn't do anything. I was almost like I was a vegetable in a sort. And once I did regain, walking and picking stuff up, my mom was like, can he play sports? And the doctor's like, absolutely not. So she literally worked with me for years to get my motor skills right. By the time I was 11 is when she took me to play basketball. And the coach took one look at me and he's like, you're on the bench. I was like, oh, damn, like he didn't even give me a chance to shoot a ball. So like first two sports, soccer and basketball, I was on the bench because he didn't think I would amount to nothing. Even the coach was like, this kid can't play sports. So my soccer coach actually gave me the chance. And I mean, it was still a recreational game. It's not that big of a deal, but like I won the game. So like I showed people that I could play sports. My first week in high school, I was 14. That's when my mom passed away. Now that's when stuff started going downhill because I don't know, my dad never had a male father figure. So my mom was all I had. So once I lost my mom, I was like, who am I going to go to? Who am I going to be able to sit down and be like, Mom, this person's picking on me. And Mom, what do I do? I didn't have that. So what do? I listen to the wrong type of people. This is when I get tied up in the gang violence. This is when I'm in Virginia. Virginia, a big time blood territory. So that's the set that I got accustomed to is Bloods. Now I have another problem because now I got other gangs after me. Oh, we got some fresh meat. Let's get them. So I got jumped in. I lost my V card at a young age because you know how that goes. And, I made the wrong choices. I don't know how I never got arrested, but I was more of a, follow the lead. I never fully did something, but I was hanging around. I was an associate, which was just as bad. And I remember at the time, back in my day, if you went inside by the time the street lights came on, you get your ass kicked. So I was in the alleyway drinking Fagos. Fagos was a hot thing back in the day. So Fagos, Tech Decks, I think Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I can't remember. We were in the alleyway just chilling, smoking, whatever. Next thing I know, my whole set just runs. And I'm like, since when you guys run away from anything? So before I get a chance to look around, I feel a cold piece of metal hit me in my back of my knee. I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? So I look up, 6 massive, they were like skinhead Nazi guys. This ain't gonna be good because I thought these were Crips because I'm like in my mind I'm like, what do these Nazi guys have against me? But then I remember they don't like Mexicans or blacks. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm about 140 pounds, baggy white tee, red hat, coats flying off. They beat the shit out of me. Next thing I know, I feel a sharp pain in my chest, and I look down and I was bleeding. I'm like, did he like stick me or something? Which he stuck me with a tiny blade. But this is when it gets really bad. So they hold me down like a starfish. Like I had one guy on my one arm, one guy on my other arm, 2 guys on my feet, one on my head. Couldn't move if I wanted to. This guy pulls a big ass knife from like his ankle, like he had it in his pants, and he literally just stuck me as hard as he could. Like he stuck it in my stomach and just ripped me open. And I remember I couldn't talk because my lungs were filling up with blood, and I tried to speak, but I couldn't. I tried to call for help, but I couldn't. I looked down, and that's when I literally saw my insides hanging out. I don't remember much about after that because I woke up in the hospital, but apparently, according to the doctor, I died twice on the way to the hospital from massive blood loss. And with me being a type O negative, I believe you're a universal donor, but you can't have a blood transfusion if it's not from another O negative. So there was this big debacle about getting me some blood from O negative because I guess in Virginia that's rare, which is even worse. So now at this point, I have about 100 staples in my stomach.